welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I am Glenn.
And I'm Jackie.
I messed that up. Hey, welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Let's get started. Married at First Sight, season 13, episode 10. Locked Out. What do you want to get started at? Let's start with Bao and Johnny. We'll get started with Bao and Johnny. We start Married at First Sight. We see Bao and Johnny. They were sitting there. They were doing yoga with each other. They was having a good time. They were enjoying each other, and you can see that Bao and Johnny starting to get to know each other that much better.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting to know each other that much better with each other. And so, one thing we seen Bao and Johnny have some growth going on with them. Bao and Johnny has been, spending time with each other ever since Johnny went to his apartment and had to get a reset. We see Bao and Johnny working some things out. In the previous episode, we saw Bao and Johnny have a little. They finally consummated their marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Finally consummated the marriage. And so this episode was really about Dr. V was coming in, and we see that the expert gave them some questions. I gave them some questions that would come in from the experts. And one of the questions Johnny asked Bao when he came and pulled out a couple was, what is one of your biggest insecurities? And Bao answered, that she's needy and she needs to be able to do it all. Mm-hmm. That's one of the biggest insecurities. And that's one of the things that we saw from Johnny and Bao, that she has to be perfect. We saw that when they was doing the painting in the last episode.
Right.
That she needs to be involved and that she needs to have needs to be the perfectionist. She needs to be the perfectionist.
Which we knew. She said that before. And Johnny actually has that problem too, just not as bad as her. Yeah,
he does have that problem. Just not as bad as she does, but he has that problem that he wants to be a perfectionist as well. I think both of them like to be perfectionists, and when they can't control the narrative or control the situation, they don't know how to deal with it.
Well, yes, especially Bao. It really takes her off track.
Yeah, no, it really does throw her off track. It throws her off track.
But
back.
It didn't really seem to have that problem this episode.
Nah, this episode, they was in love. They was in heaven. I mean, they were smooching and all that, and we'll get to it here in a minute. But Bao and Johnny really showed that they are we're moving in the right direction. The question, when Bao asked Johnny the same question, what his biggest insecurities, and he said was not living a purposeful life.
Mm.
He said that the show Married at First Sight is one of the biggest things that he did. One of the biggest things that he done on the episode or in the show. And he wants to live on purpose. And I think most people want to live on purpose. And now most people want to be able to have a purposeful life. And I think Johnny and Bao are working towards that. They're working to live purposefully, and they're working to have a purposeful life. We know these questions came from the experts. Another one that came in for the experts. What makes them embarrassed or ashamed, And Bao talks about her upbringing.
Right. How she grew up poor. And I don't think she said it this time, but in a previous episode, did she say she lived in a trailer park?
Yeah, she talked about it. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know if I can't remember. I couldn't remember if she specifically said this time about the trailer park, but she talked about how poor she was and how embarrassed she was. How her father was like embarrassing to her. She lost friends because Johnny was like, well, did you have some friends you could confide in that you talked to that could kind of relate? And she said, I did have some friends, but then those friends were like, my dad says, or my parents say we can't hang out with you because your dad's a bad influence.
Yeah, and we get to really find out what that bad influence was. We found out that, Bao's dad was the local drunk.
Mm.
That he was the one that, parents didn't want their kids to hang out around him because he was a drunk. And I thought Johnny, they was kind of fishing for what direction. Like, I didn't know what made him so bad. Was he the neighborhood pervert? Was he the guy that go mess with kids? But we found out, and we've come to find out that he was the neighborhood drunk. And that was one of the biggest issues she was ashamed of where she lived at. She was ashamed of her father. And that was one of her biggest, embarrassments in life.
Mm-hmm.
That she didn't want people to know that she was poor,
right?
That she didn't have all the finer things in life, and that was one of the biggest issues with Bao. that being a drunk. You know, they got a visit from Dr. V.
The dad being
and dad being a drunk, not Bao being a drunk. You know, the dad was a drunk, and you know, and that even haunts her to this day. You know, how she carry herself and how she makes sure that she has everything in order, and how she makes sure she has everything in line, and even dealing with the relationship with Johnny to make sure that he has everything in line as well. She wants to make sure that she has I'm not saying she's on mirrorless status, but she want to make sure she never goes back to that. And has to deal with that as well. You know, next thing we have Dr. V actually comes and visits Johnny and Bao. You know, and they were excited that Dr. V was coming to visit them. They was excited that Dr. V was there. And you know, Dr. V asked him a question. Basically, what do you like about them, and what do you like about her, and why? He said he enjoys the fact they do stuff. He wants her to be able to do stuff together. Right. He wants the relationship for them to do things together.
Yeah, he liked when they cooked together. He mentioned that he liked when they cooked together. You know, we've seen them do the art thing together, even though she got quite frustrated. Yeah. And then, of course, the other thing they did together, they consummated their marriage, which Dr. V talked to them about. Asked, was it pretty vanilla?
Look, it actually was pretty vanilla. And she was kind of, but she wants to get a little bit more spicy. She wants Johnny to do other things and makes it a little spicy. He wanted to keep it vanilla, and she wanted to keep it spicy. One thing was interesting about that, Johnny was like, Bao kind of tricks him into doing things. Because it was time to make the bed, and they was like making the bed together. And then she wasn't making the bed with him. She was kind of barking orders or giving orders to him to make the bed. It wasn't a big issue. It wasn't a major thing, but he just noticed that when some things that we do together, that he's doing them by himself, and she's just there giving instructions, not necessarily giving him everything that he needs, but it's just giving him instructions. Yeah. You know, and so, but you know, with the intimacy thing, they both said they like sex. They like having sex with each other. Bao, which was surprising to me, Bao was like, you know what, I like to have it daily or at least once every other day.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Look, Bao has a high sex drive. I thought was pretty good.
Which I think I made this comment. I was like, as hot to trot, I'm gonna call it, as hot to trot as Johnny was, he wasn't the one that was like he wanted it more frequently. It was Bao. But the one thing Bao also said is that she wasn't good at reading his signs of romance. She's not good at reading what he's giving off.
Yeah, he's giving on mixed signals, and don't know how to initiate. Basically, when he wants sex, she couldn't read the initiation. How? And they flat out asked the question, how would you want me to initiate sex? You know, and that became a discussion as well. I don't think she really gave an answer to how she wanted him to initiate sex. You know, they just let it happen, let it flow, let it be natural, let it go into what it needs to go into. So I think that was one of the things that was there.
The other thing I wanted to say is they talked to Dr. Viv about when they did have sex, and they talked about how intense it was. And Johnny basically was like, I think it was intense because it was just like the first time. It was like, ooh, trying it out. Not intense like, I hate to say experimental, but not intense like we did a whole lot of stuff. Because again, for Johnny, it was pretty vanilla. And Bao felt like it could be a little more adventurous.
Yeah, she wanted more variety in her sex. Yeah. She was I want to do some different things. And, you know, Bao's the same one that she said when she meet a person for the very first time, she wants to be not first time, but when she met in her relationships, she will be the one that's always getting into it, having sex with them. We see Bao and Johnny later on. They get the gifts from the experts. They get the gifts from the experts. In the gift was some costumes. We saw them.
A nurse's uniform and then a patient gown. Which, being a nurse, that's not sexy. That patient gown, like, it couldn't have been me. I'd be like, oh no. And then Bao was like, oh, look, it opens in the back. Duh.
Had the back out. She was happy that they had the back out.
Hospital gowns have the back out.
Yeah, hospital gowns had the back out, but it was sexy them, so they dressed up in a little outfit, played around and joked around in that. But then come the serious stuff. The major things, the things that they really enjoyed. They had some dice in there. We see Bao and Johnny have some dice in there. Boom, Bao rolls the dice. Johnny rolls the dice. It says blow on her neck. while sitting on the sofa.
Mm-hmm.
So what Johnny added a little, he ad-libbed like most dudes do. He ad-libbed on there. He blew on her neck, gave a little kiss and on her neck, and bowed like, ooh.
I got extra.
I got extra.
Some extra stuff.
She got some extra stuff. She felt a little something that was there. You know, she felt a little extra there. Then it was her turn to roll the dice.
Mm-hmm.
Bow rolls the dice and says, you know, lay on the floor. Have your partner lay on the floor and then lick his navel.
And Johnny is funny because she's like, I'm gonna have to guide you because he's blindfolded.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to guide you. She helps him down the floor, lay this way. And so she goes to pull his shirt up. And he's like, oh, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? And so then he grabs his belt buckle and he's like, do you need me to help you out? She's like, no.
Like, dog, we're not.
Which I thought was funny because this is Mr. Pretty Vanilla.
Right.
And I said to myself, I mean, the experts might be doing something. I'm like, I don't think on the dice it says lick or blow, taste or even suck where he was trying to take his belt off at. It might have. I just didn't see that, but I was like, okay, Johnny, Pretty Vanilla, but was he trying to be funny or was he serious? Like, that's not Pretty Vanilla.
No, that's not Pretty Vanilla.
It's not basic Caucasian.
It's not basic Caucasian either. But hey, it was something that Johnny liked. And maybe he thought maybe he thought she was gonna undo his pants. Well, nonetheless, Bow licks Johnny's navel.
He did, and she did, and then Johnny got kiss navel bedroom. So he picked Bow up, took her in the bedroom, and most of the scenes that we saw, I know they stopped playing with the dice. They left them on the table.
Yeah.
They was doing quite a few other things.
I'm sure that eventually she told the camera crew, y'all got to get out. Yeah. That we getting ready to handle some business and we were getting ready to do some things here. And so, you know, from all in all, Johnny and Bow had a pretty decent show. It didn't really have any arguments. A lot of people talked about how Johnny and Bow were doing better. Even when we saw Unfiltered, they were talked about how Johnny and Bow has progressed, how their relationship have moved on, and you know, people kind of envious in a good way of Johnny and Bow, how Johnny and Bow moved on. I do still think Johnny and Bow have some things to work out, that Johnny still has some issues within himself that he needs to work out. But as far as this week goes, Johnny and Bow they did what the experts wanted to do, and what Dr. V asked them to do, and they're moving up, you know, in the charts. They are one of those couples that you say, you know what, they might make it. At this point, Johnny and Bow might make it because they're doing everything that the experts are asking them to do. Johnny even feeling Bow. He like, ooh, man, my wife, you know, even the point where she was putting some stuff in the oven and he's sitting there looking at her butt and, you know, those type of things. And so he's feeling Bow.
Trying to sneak a peek any way he can.
Sneak a peek any way he can. So ain't nothing wrong with sneaking a peek every once in a while. You got to sneak a peek, you know, every chance you can get. But nonetheless, Bow and Johnny are doing well.
And I'm going to say we go to the next couple that was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
This episode, it was Mirla and Gil.
Yeah. Mirla and Gil. They're really pretty smooth on this couple. This couple. You know, I think one of the questions that came, that all of the couples got questions from the experts. You know, the experts sent all of them questions. And one of the questions that Mirla got, over the last 5 years, how have you changed? And that was her question, the question Gil asked. And it was surprising. Her answer surprised not only Gil, but it surprised me as well. She said
about the patience?
Yeah, she became more understanding and more patient over the last 5 years. I like, really? I don't think she's that patient.
You don't?
She's laid back. She's low key, but you know, she is understanding.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think she's patient. I think she's patient. I think we that you don't want to get that mixed up with the other being picky or particular. But I think she is patient. Yeah, she's absolutely patient.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. That's what I was getting it mixed up. Like
He's more patient.
He's more patient. I was getting it up with the you know, she's patient to a extent because there's some things that she still doesn't like that she verbally says, but she's not. Well, some people may say she's rude about it. But you know, she speaks her mind.
Yeah, I don't think she's nasty though. She's upfront, but I don't think she's nasty.
She's pretty low key.
Yeah.
Pretty low key. You know, she wanted to become more understanding. Gil was surprised by her answer. Dr. V comes in. They see Dr. V, and Dr. V asks them, how they rate their emotional intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
How would they rate their emotional intimacy? And Mila said, you know what? It's a 7. And Gil was like, what? Really? In her mind, it's a 7.
I don't think. No, I think Gil wasn't taken aback as much with her emotional intimacy level. It was the
physical.
Right.
But I think he still was surprised with the emotional. I mean, that how attacked, because he wants to be he wants her to basically show him love and be emotional to him. I think he still was giving back just a little bit on the emotional intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
When she said 7, he was kind of, I think he's still a little bit surprised that she rated it that high.
Mm-hmm. But Gil rated it an 8. So they were about neck and neck there. Because I still say emotionally, they're connecting there. It's just the emotional connection is not flowing over into the physical.
Yeah.
And so when they were asked that, I felt like Gil was more surprised when she said for physical, it was 7 for her. And he's like, what? He was like, I'm at a 5. It could definitely be better. It's not the worst, but it could be better. He still talked about that kiss. Yeah. He said, we're doing a lot of cuddling, and I think they actually cuddled then too, didn't they?
That was, when they got into the experiment, when Dr. V them gave him, they did cuddle. But his thing was that the physical, he needs the kiss. He needs that kiss to say, you know what, even if it's a peck, he's happy with the peck. He just wants that physical touch from her, which makes him feel like, I ain't gonna say like a man because he is a man, but it makes him feel comfortable. Yeah,
he said, I'm doing cheek kisses. I do some forehead kiss. But then also he talked about Dr. Viv was like, well, what about when you leave to go to work? And he was like, I just be like, bye. Kind of like, because he don't want to get his feelings hurt. What if I go in for it and I get rejected? And so he's like, I just say bye. And Dr. Viv was like, oh.
Yeah, I think as a husband, when you leave or go to work and you want to give your spouse a kiss and you want to give him a hug and you want to be able to have that I guess that feeling, okay, I'm embracing you, let me go here. And you want to walk out happy, click your heels and be like, I got a kiss, I got whatever. And that's what he's looking at. He's, again, being married, he wants them to do married things. And they're very complimentary to each other. Mm-hmm. They don't have any arguments. She said they're very compatible. They're getting along very well. They're maneuvering well in every aspect of their relationship. It's just this one area right here that they're struggling with, and that's the intimacy. And she said it's not going to happen. And she said that it's not going to happen, but she's not comfortable there yet. And before she does anything in any relationship, just not with Gil, that she takes time. And she wants to get to know them on a spiritual level, emotional level, physical, mental level beforehand. But she also says in one of her vignettes that she was cheated on too. Mm-hmm. And therefore, she's not willing to put all her heart into a person, into him, and feel like she's going to be heartbroken. And
that's also, which I really didn't get the correlation, but like Gil asked, so is to you kissing, what they talk about is kissing and sex kind of on the same plane for you, like as far as level of intimacy? And she said yes. And she did kind of relate that to the cheating thing too. And I was like, not really getting that, but okay, if that's how you feel.
Yeah. I mean,
and they talked about again that I think Dr. Viv was privy to it too, that Gil was like, if I don't get a kiss by the end, like I'm going to want a divorce. And Mira was like, well, why are you going to say, because you don't get a kiss, we're going to get a divorce? And he was like, that means something to me. And she kind of gave him a glimmer of hope, It's like, it'll probably happen before then. And he was like, that's all I'm asking for, like some reassurance that I'm going to get a kiss.
Yeah. And that's, I guess that's what he wants right now. It gets a kiss to show that there is some physical attraction. I think she is physically attractive. I guess he wants that, I want to call it intimacy, or that, what would you call kissing?
He said it, but what he said was he wants some substance to go with what her words are saying.
Yes.
You're saying you like me, you're feeling me and everything, but I need the substance.
Yeah, I need the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I need the evidence to make sure that everything is working well with us, and that's what he said too. He said, well, we want kids. We've talked about kids, and we talked about liking each other. You talked about liking me and all that, and like you just said, he wants the substance, and that's what they need. They need that substance to go together with each other. And I think, and I'm gonna go ahead and jump ahead. He did get a kiss eventually.
He did.
He got a kiss, and we saw the kiss that he got. He said he just came home from work, and they tell the story a little bit different. He said he just came from work, and she basically just ran in the house, and when he came in, she just ran up on him and kissed him. Yeah,
he said he thought she was going in for a hug, right. And next thing you know, she pecked him on the lips, and it took him aback. Like, did you mean to do that? And he said, I actually said it. Did you mean to do that? And she basically was like, yeah, and kissed him again.
And she kissed him again.
So he got more than one kiss.
He got more than one. He got two. And the fellas were happy because that's when it was golfing. He told the story. He couldn't wait to tell the guys that he got an extra kiss. But I think, she's one thing. What I've learned about Mirla is that she is emotional. She just likes to do things on her time. She does like him. She wants to make sure that it's right. She doesn't want to do it again. She doesn't want to mess up in their relationship. She want to make sure things are done her way. Now, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, but because he has been doing a lot of compromising. They matched him up with they matched her up with the right person, because a lot of guys wouldn't have been that patient. A lot of men wouldn't be that patient to wait for that much for her to invest all that he invests, to put all the time he puts in, to do all the work that he worked. And it's not, and I guess it's because they're married, because I believe if they were dating, he might have been like, you know what?
Maybe, but I think the other thing when you talk about them being matched up is that Gil is real even keeled. His friend said that when they came for the housewarming. He said that I'm just happy to be here. Like, it's a good day to be alive. He is a bright side person.
Yeah.
He don't rock the boat. It would take a lot for him to. So not only is he patient with her, he's just got a calm type of personality. That's just how he is.
He sees the glass always being half full.
That's what I said. Bright side.
Bright side. Well, yeah, I mean, he wants to be able to, see the good in everybody. But I think he was at his wit's end with this whole kissing situation, because as much as being a grown man, as much all the cuddling and touching and petting they do and all that stuff, he was feeling something like, okay, if you can do all this with me and we can get all this close and cuddle up, I should be able to get a kiss. And I think the exercise that they did from Dr. V really opened her up a little bit more and made her feel more comfortable.
Because that was before.
That was before they got the kiss. And so what happened was they had to go and, they put their foreheads together. This was the one that really, first of all, let's get there.
The first thing was, let's breathe together. Get in a comfortable cuddle position, and you just breathe together at the same timing with your breath.
Yeah.
And I felt like they were so close and cuddled and breathing together. I could just see him like blowing. He was close enough to blow in her hair, kind of kiss her on the neck, but he didn't. But they was just that close. I was like, that would be a good moment if he thought that she would be receptive.
He didn't want to get rejected, man. He didn't want to go in for a kiss and she'd be like, nope, not today, not on national television.
Right.
And be like, just give him the hand. But before we even got there was some questions that he pulled out first.
Yes.
That she was like, not gonna happen. And one of the first ones was, you know what?
Would
you take a body shot?
Oh yeah, she was like, no, I've never done body shots, period. Not getting ready to do it. No.
This is the one that made me
all for me. A body shot
off of him. This is one that made me really laugh. Because she was like, the question like, will you get blindfolded? She's like, nope, I got my lashes done.
Yeah, I don't want that on my lashes.
And I'm sitting here like, dog, close your eyes. Can we do it? She could have did that if she just closed her eyes. To me, that was the one not made me hot. I'd have been like, come on, just close your eyes. We ain't got a blindfold you. Just close your eyes.
But then the funny one was, okay, so how would you like for me to initiate? So he was like, yeah, next question. Non-applicable. Non-applicable.
We're not even gonna go. I'm not even gonna waste my time with that. I'm not even gonna waste my time with asking that one, because I know you're not gonna answer that. You're not gonna answer that whatsoever. So he was like, nope, not gonna do it. not gonna do it. But they cuddled. They got they got together face to face. And I think right then and there was where she got real comfortable with him. And because the producers asked her later, do you think you get a kiss? Much sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
And she really started to feel him.
Yeah. They did talk about the things that they appreciate. I forgot the question was.
They appreciate you with each other. I think. What do you love about the person? What do you like? What
do you need from? She said, I need your continued patience, but I'm also challenged by your patience.
Yeah.
And he says he loves her compassion.
Mm-hmm. He needs a desire.
Yeah, and to be challenged in the intimacy area.
Challenged in the intimacy area, which is good for him. She said she loved waking up together.
Yeah.
She loves the fact that when they wake up, that he's right beside her, and then they wake up together. She has that companion. That companionship that's there together. So, this couple here, you can see the growth in them, especially with her giving him a kiss.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what he really wanted, and that's what he really got from her. Mm-hmm. And so the intimacy and Dr. V and all that, for me, I think worked for them in this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna say this episode because let's say we're going episode by episode. No spoilers here or anything like that, but we can it worked for them in this episode. So. Mm-hmm. It was one of the things that they needed to do and they needed to work on.
Yep.
So.
All right. Next, we're increasing in difficulty.
Yeah, we're increasing in difficulty. So we're moving up the ladder. So we talked about Bao. For those who just come on, we already talked about Bao and Johnny, Mirla and Gil. We can go to Brett and Ryan.
Yeah.
We go to Brett and Ryan. We see Brett and Ryan when the first scene we see them, that they're fixing breakfast together. They're enjoying the moment with each other. The next time we see them with Dr. V has come by. Mm-hmm. Dr. V has come in. She asked a question. She asked about affection.
Mm-hmm.
She talked about affection, and Ryan goes into the same story, the same thing he's been saying. I don't have sparks. There's no He doesn't feel butterflies in his stomach. Made me prompt and ask, what do butterflies feel like?
Yeah,
I mean,
but before that though, she did talk to them about affection. What's their affection level? And she asked, "Well, have you seen each other naked?" And they're like, "No."
No. How do you be together and not see each other naked? I'm sorry, they've been together 4 weeks, 3 weeks at this time, 3 or 4 weeks at this time.
Maybe if he saw her naked, he would have some butterflies, or get some sparks.
They need some sparks. That needs to take place. They need to see each other naked. I mean, beyond, you're 4 weeks in, you're 5 weeks in, you're married, you're husband and wife. You haven't seen her change and be naked, or she always changes in the bathroom. What does she sleep in? Has she probably seen his chest already? That's kind of semi-naked. Mm-hmm. But I think after that long period of time, you should be able to see each other in a different light. You should be able to see him naked, and he should be able to see you naked. And you get to see what you like or what you don't like, and whatever case may be. And that may give him the sparks, because he said, when they get later on, he talks about her. He attracted her eyes. Mm-hmm. He likes her eyes. They're pretty. Okay, good. You like her eyes. Maybe the rest of her is just as pretty. Mm-hmm. Let's see each other, in our birthday suits. I'm just saying. Look. I'm just saying. Again, he goes into the fact that he doesn't feel the butterflies, and it messes her up.
Well, yeah, because Brett is like, I always have this issue where it's like, you're cool, but you're pretty, but I like you, but it never gets past that. And she's like, doggone it, I'm here again. Where it's like, oh, she's cool, but not for me.
Not for me.
But the one thing she said was, if you don't like me, if you're not attracted, you're not attracted. But
one of the things is that he's looking for a certain type.
Right.
He wants a certain type of woman. And Dr. V was telling him, look, you may not get the type that you want, but what you have, appreciate basically what you have and take care of what you have, and try to connect with what you have. Whether it's, she may not be a blonde hair, or she may not be a brunette. She may be redheaded. And because that was one of the things earlier, he said, I never dated a redhead before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, dog, you dated a woman. You know what I'm saying?
No, right.
Whether she has red hair, no hair, blonde hair, is a woman that you thought was pretty at the altar. And so let's try to work this thing out.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna throw this out there,
Mm-hmm.
so y'all can tell me. Being an African American woman involved with an African American man, I've never encountered that where they were like, our hair color is a big thing. I mean, he's really like, I never dated a redhead. I'm like, I mean, I don't. It's never. We don't have that issue. I feel like I probably would never hear an African American man say, "I don't want to date a black girl with blonde tracks."
Or blonde hair.
Now it might be short hair or long hair.
Yeah.
That, but I don't know. I'm just like, for him to get so hung up on the hair color. Well, and not that he's hung up, but he has mentioned that. But
a lot.
I'm like, is it that much different? I mean, granted, natural redheads, maybe a paler complexion, eye color different, but I don't know. But yeah, it made her tearful, you know, because the other thing is he didn't want to have to say it because he didn't want to hurt her feelings, but this is where I'm at.
But it makes you feel not wanted, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Which is what I said. She's like, I'm going through this again. Oh, you like me, but not like that. Oh, she's cool to hang out with, but not to be in a relationship with. But she's like, this is the story of my life. And even to a point where Dr. V wants to talk to him about it some more. And he was like, I'd rather talk to you about it without Brett. And so Brett got excused.
But he's smart because he said, you know what, even with her leaving, I feel like it's not cool with her. Like, it's not cool that we have this conversation, you know, by ourselves. You know, and that's one of the things, you know, he was talking about her being, again, not his type, having high anxiety.
Yeah.
But everything she does is like a panic. It's a panic. We got to do it. This hurry up. It, like, you know, even goes back to
not even hurry up, but what's that?
Yeah, real nervous. Like, you know, even go back to the airplane situation and all that. She's really high strung, and the kayak, when they did the kayak. So he's not used to somebody who is very anxious about different situations that go on.
And the one thing he said is, I'm a pretty calm and collected person. I'm not finding myself having to be even more so to try to calm her down.
And this is the one that we really, when we had to hit pause on, we watched it and stopped, because he was like, he wants to be able to come home and kiss his wife, and they really make out or do it up against the wall. And you said it before Dr. V said it, like, dog, that's Hollywood stuff. That doesn't happen on a regular basis.
No, not when you're married. No.
And Dr. V said it may happen for your birthday, maybe anniversary, special occasion.
You might get them grown man gifts.
Grown man gifts, you know, but it's not happening every day.
No,
when you come home
on TV.
that you're gonna get. He feel like I'm on TV, but he feel like I'm on TV. So but that's not gonna happen every day. So he wants that to transpire and happen every single, you know, and those what he wants nice steamy. What he see on TV.
I wish he talk to your parents. That's not everyday life for married folks. Mm-hmm. Not saying that you don't have any romance or, you know, that it won't be spontaneous stuff, but no, that's not a regularly occurring thing.
Ryan still I like Ryan, but he still seems like a frat boy to me.
Yeah,
he really does. He seemed like some of the guys I went to school with. I'm not calling names, but he feel like some of the guys. But
I don't know what you mean by that.
No, but some of the guys that I went to school with, you know, but he does. He's that good old country boy who has a mindset, but he also was in a nice frat. He hang out with his group, with us.
I know what a frat boy means, but you looked at me like I was. I don't have nobody in mind that you're talking about. You know, and so, and so, but he has a certain type that he wants on his arm, and Brett doesn't fit that type, and so when she doesn't fit that type, he doesn't feel comfortable. I guarantee if Brett was that type that you see in the movie with the blonde hair, hanging out around the frat guys, always on his arm, maybe upper echelons, a little bit more higher class than maybe higher class.
then he will have no problem with her. Not saying that she's not well to do, but to me, Ryan wants the higher class, blonde hair. I want to say, I'm gonna use Chris's term for last year, trophy wife.
You're right.
But, trophy wife type woman on his arm. That's what he seems to me that he wants. And Ryan doesn't fit that bill, and so
You mean Brett?
Maybe Brett doesn't fit that bill, and so he's not feeling that. So we find out when she has a conversation with Michaela later on that Ryan goes home for 2 days after they meet with Dr. V. He goes home. And this is what we call foul. Zach started this stuff.
Zach and Mindy.
Yeah, Zach and Mindy from season DC.
Yeah, I think they was like the first one to do that crap.
Yeah.
That we know of.
That we remember. He's just going home. I went home. I'm going home and not show up. So he goes home for 2 days talking about he need a reset. He's like Johnny. I need to go home and get a reset. It's too much. You're just walking out. To me, you're walking out. You're quitting. Not necessarily quitting, but you're walking out. Deal with the issue. Deal with the problem. What happens if you make it past the 8 weeks and y'all in one home, and there's not another home to go to? How do you handle the situation then? How do you deal with it? Do you go stay in a hotel for 2 days, get a reset? I mean, what do you do here? So that's, to me, is like same thing when we get to Michaela and Zach. To me, it's a cop out.
Yeah.
Deal with the situation unless it becomes violent. And you think about stabbing him, or she's thinking about stabbing you, or y'all thinking about putting hands on each other. Deal with the situation that's at hand.
It makes it too easy to run away, to escape the situation. I would have felt better if he said, "Well, they're not sleeping in the same bed anyway." Or they're one of the ones that aren't sleeping in the same bed.
Yeah, they're sleeping together. Yeah, they are.
Go in the other bedroom.
Yeah, you can go in the bedroom.
Go in the other bedroom.
What if he took his dog?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure he did. But go in the other bedroom. Don't run away, like leave. Think about last season when Vincent left, but he got as far as the parking lot and he thought about it and was like, nah,
can't do that.
Nah. I wish these folks had some more of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the last thing was them. We see them do tantric yoga. We saw this last season with Clara and Ryan. Another Ryan.
Yeah, another Ryan.
Which he just thought it was hilarious. He just laughed about it. We came to the conclusion that he thought it was so funny and made light of it because they was already having sex before that. So they didn't really need that. And so he just made it a big joke. I think Ryan took it more seriously.
He did.
But it didn't really catapult them to anything else. But
it was cool. They had a good time. They enjoyed it. You watched Unfiltered, you found out what was really funny with this Ryan. He was like the tantric yoga guy. His sack was hanging out of his shorts the whole time. And so I saw his sack the whole time hanging out of his shorts. And so we had the production cut a lot of the tantric yoga stuff out because
the instructor said, "You're probably going to have to edit this out because I was hanging out."
I was hanging out.
And Ryan was like, "Yeah, you were." But the other thing he said too was they were a little more. The instructors was like
more touchy feely.
Yeah,
like they was getting it. They was enjoying the session more.
It was
so
almost kind of uncomfortable for them.
More so than Ryan and Brett. But one thing they did finally discuss was that they both know they need to communicate better. They both know that they like each other, and they want to move in the right direction. So they do have feelings for each other. They do like each other. They want to move in the right direction. The only big issue with Ryan here is that he doesn't have butterflies. Butterflies in the sky.
No, not that butterfly.
Oh.
More like you give me butterflies. That one. Not reading Rainbow.
No, not reading Rainbow butterflies.
He don't want those. He want Michael Jackson and Marsha Ambrosia's butterflies. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's not getting that right now.
And he might not get it.
And he might not get it, but he's not getting no intimacy.
I think that's what, and they talked about that on Unfiltered too.
Yeah.
Jose said it, and I think Zach said it too, but definitely Jose was like, "You're not necessarily going to get butterflies."
Nah, you may not get the butterflies.
Anyway, so I know you don't want to do this.
No, we're not doing it.
I'm about to say.
No, that's last.
Oh no.
Let's go to my favorite couple. They got drama all day long. Michaela and Zach. Michaela, man, we see Zach, you know, when they first open up, see Zach working out. He meets up with his friend Jerron. Zach is working out. He's got his boxing gloves on. He's doing push-ups. He's doing setups. He's hanging out. You know, he's doing his workout. They meet up at like a boxing gym and they're working out. And, you know, Jerron basically asked him how things are going with him and Michaela. And he said, well, you know, they're going pretty well. We were supposed to meet up last night, but it didn't happen. And he was like, well, why it didn't happen?
Because they were supposed to,
have a movie night.
They were supposed to have a movie night. And he went to his place to get something.
Get the Apple TV.
To get his Apple TV so they could watch the movie and have a movie night. And for some reason or another, the time of night it was, he was like, it was late. I was tired. So I just stayed in my place. And I'm like, well, dog, that sounded like it was too late for y'all to be watching the movie. Like, y'all, you won't go stay up for the movie any freaking way. What? Like you didn't come home, you went to sleep it.
He said he called her. Now
At least he did that.
He called her and he said she was disappointed, but there was no argument.
She didn't flip out.
Now, this is my thing to Zach, right? This is why you don't go to your apartment on a regular basis when you're living with your wife. Because when you go to your apartment late at night, you get comfortable. You begin to think about, man, that's far across town. I may not want to go that far across town. Man, you know what? I really don't want to do a movie night with him. Man, you sit there, you get something to drink. You may, you know, get on whatever case may be, and you start to feel comfortable in your spot. And they was already not in a good place anyway. So I imagine he went to his apartment, whether TV was on, he unplugged it, whether it just felt comfortable. And he's like, you know what? We'll have another movie night. But because they allowed that from the last couple of weeks for them to be able to separate and not have to deal with any issues, it was too easy for him to be there. It was easy for him to say, you know what? I'm staying here. And I'm going to call her. She was heartbroken.
Yeah, she was definitely hurt. And
she was disappointed. And when they get to Dr. V, they talk about it even more. But again, false promises. If you're trying to build trust and you're trying to mend the relationship that they have, stop lying.
And the thing that we said there that you and I talked about ourselves was the fact that before we've talked about and other people that have reviewed it and Zachy said too, like, he doesn't want to have to walk on eggshells around her, but I don't think it's fair to make her have to walk on eggshells either. So she might have been really upset, but she didn't want to let on that she was really upset because, he's going to think I'm flipping out again. You know, so I feel like she probably she says it later. She was really hurt because it sounded like to me this was his idea to have the movie night, and then you freaking go to your apartment and you're too tired to bring the TV back. I didn't ask you for no movie.
And what it makes her feel like is this, that you don't want to be with me.
Right.
It makes her feel unwanted. It makes her feel unloved. And this is another point. It makes her feel like, dang, I shouldn't have gave you the goodies so early. Because she gave it up the first night. So now it makes her feel so, like, just terrible.
Yeah, because I hate to jump ahead, but on Filter, we find out that ain't nothing going on but the rent.
Yeah, ain't nothing happened since then.
Ain't nothing going on but the rent.
Nothing. There's no intimacy. There's nothing.
No hugging, no kissing.
Nothing.
We're not sleeping in the same bed. I'm either at my place or
in the guest room.
In the guest room. We're not sleeping in the bed together.
It's nothing going on. So she's upset. They mad. They meet with Dr. V. Dr. V comes.
They couldn't even get to the intimacy stuff for real.
Not at all. But you can see their body language. I mean, we talked about it in last season where Jake and Haley sat on opposite ends of the couch.
You already know what time.
You already know what time it is. Zach is on one side, Michaela's on the other side, and they're like, there's a gap between them bigger than the Red Sea. Right? They're between, and then she's there. They have this conversation about what transpired, and she basically goes into the, I don't trust. I trust you at 50%. And he felt kind of shut, like 50%. Like, hold on, I'm appalled. If he had pearls, he would have grabbed his pearls. At 50%, well, yeah, because what your words don't match up with your actions. She don't trust you because you keep saying things and she said it, you're saying things that you never finish or you don't do. Go back to the TV. You said we're going to have a movie night. Well, you didn't have that. How can I trust you?
because you let me down.
Yo.
You let me down.
Yeah, you let him up to let him down. And Zach talks about, his trust level is always about her blowing up.
What? But he said his trust level is about at a 10. And he was like, basically, too, what do you mean when you say my trust level? Because he said, I'm the type of person that I trust people just straight out. Like, I trust your actions. I straight out. But this is a different kind of trust. Like, I trust that you feel the way you say you do, that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And that's why I still got in. For him to say my trust level's at a 10, what are you saying? I trust that you're going to act a monkey, a donkey? Pick one. What's your trust?
He is unable to let go what happened weeks ago.
Yeah, he said,
and that's the problem. And that's the problem in their relationship. He won't let it go. I think there's a point in time after weeks have passed. I understand a couple of days you hang on to it, but every time, and she's proven to you that she's not going to keep giving you a knee-jerk reaction. Mm-hmm. She apologized for the knee-jerk reaction. She said, you know what, I'm sorry. It won't happen. The way I handled the situation before, I'm trying not to handle it again. And one thing I like that she said was that we've been doing counseling. We've been meeting with the experts. Mm-hmm. I've been getting advice. I've talked to some people that now I'm doing what was suggested for me to do, and I'm trying, and you won't let it go.
Give me a chance to show you that I can change. You're treating me like I can't change, because he used the absolute when he was talking to Dr. Viv, was like, no, it's not. And Dr. Viv was like, how can you use it as an absolute, as if this is the way it is, this way it's always going to be? He was like, because it's a fundamental difference. It's a fundamental part of who you are. And, she was like, but I'm not saying that. He's like, I'm not saying that's good or bad. And Dr. Viv and Michaela both were like, you can say it's bad. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it's bad. I'm saying it's not okay. Just say it.
But see, I understand where he's coming from there, because he doesn't want to hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
He feels
he's still hurting her.
He doesn't understand that, though. He feels as if he's not hurting. If I don't say that, you know what, it was terrible, Michaela, I just hated your actions. And he's kind of saying both. He's speaking out of both sides of his mouth, mm-hmm. because he is saying it, but he's not saying it directly to her. Mm-hmm. So when he says it to other people, it's like, she did this, and this. I can't do that. But with her around, he's not trying to hurt her feelings. So he's speaking out of both sides. But intention, he doesn't want to, and she's fine with it. Like, I know I messed up, but he can't get past it. That she messed up, and that's that's the biggest thing in their relationship. He needs to go ahead and let that go.
Let it go,
and then allow them to try to work on what's going on. Because then, even with Dr. Viv, she's like, dude, when are you going to release her from this? You're not perfect.
Yeah, and you're trying to hold her to a level of perfection that you're not even exhibiting.
Yeah, you
can't expect her to be perfect. And you're not. And furthermore, we're people. None of us are perfect. Ain't none perfect but the Lord Jesus Christ.
Right. She leaves him at that. And so, to me, he starts the manipulation here. Mm. And because I believe it's a manipulation when he starts, man, I can't do nothing. And it's, I'm feeling bad. And
I don't understand. Like, what am I not doing right? What am I doing? I'm like, first of all, you too grown for that. For us to be sitting here talking about it, and for you not to understand.
Yeah.
That I'm like, how old are you?
Oh.
How many relationships have you been in? You know what I'm saying? You ain't learned nothing. Your parent, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, even with Dr. Viv there, it's still not making sense. You're not understanding what you did. What you doing wrong is you won't let it go. You don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Give somebody a chance.
He's not giving her any grace.
No.
He's not giving her any grace, not forgiving her any situation. And he needs to work out one thing that he does that, when I say manipulation again, he starts, the tears start to flow. Mm-hmm. So he started to make it about him and how he feels bad, and not what he's done to her. And I'm not justifying her behavior. Her behavior at that time was bad behavior. She shouldn't have had a knee-jerk reaction. But I can say now that and what's coming out of her mouth, even out of his, that she is making progression to do better. Mm-hmm. She's trying to do better. And so he started crying. He goes into another room and he's complaining. And now she's crying because she still wants a marriage. Mm-hmm. And they still want to be together, but he's not allowing it. And I guarantee he either slept in the other room or he went home. Mm-hmm. I don't think he really finished working out what they did, and the manipulation started when Dr. V left.
Oh yeah, soon as she left.
Soon as she walked out the door. So to me, that's why I call it manipulation, because it didn't transpire or take place when Dr. V was there. Yep. He next time we see them, he had set up a nice date for her. Mm-hmm. They go to a friend of his house. They got a nice pool. They got nice, they get the basket from the experts. Find out Michaela's a strong swimmer, and they have a date. I'm gonna call it a date, a night out at the pool. She talks about her dad a little bit, about being strong, kind, and open, and intuitive. And she said she sees some of those qualities in Zach, and I'm sitting there like, psych. No, he is strong.
No.
In some areas. He's kind of kind in some areas.
He's definitely kind.
In some areas. So I can see
where he's intuitive.
No. Not at all. But he is open because he's always straightforward, right? So he is that. Even with the gesture that he's done with her, the nightclub or whatever, I think the restaurant, nightclub, and even this one, because he said the reason he did this because she's a strong swimmer and they didn't have an opportunity to swim on their honeymoon. So he wanted to do something different for her. And so to help them kind of make amends and get back together to get to the place where they're at now.
Yeah.
They're in their session, they got the questions. What was the first thing that she was attracted to? And she said it was her face, his face. She was attracted to his face. The next question was, what is something that you're sorry for? And here she go again, apologize.
I'm sorry for knee-jerk reactions.
How many times do a person have to apologize for the same thing? I just feel if you apologize once and you accepted my apology, then I don't need to keep apologizing.
Yeah.
I just need to keep moving on and don't keep apologizing for the same thing over and over again. Quick question: change one thing about to be able to change one thing.
Yeah, what's the one thing you would change? And it was like, it was the amount of time you hold on to things. Yeah. I like for that to change. Like, let it go.
Yeah, the amount of time. When they changed one thing about me or the other person, and she told Zach that, wish the time that the way that he holds on to things, he would let it go.
And it's affecting his happiness because she said, I miss the happy person you were. Like, I don't see that no more. I don't see the happy you. And I would like to see that back. And I'm trying to do my part to bring it back. But I want to be like Michaela. What is he doing?
What is he doing to get the happy back? What is he doing? Is he doing anything to make sure that she's happy besides, these little dates that the production probably set up? What happens when the camera goes off? What are they doing when the camera goes off to build their relationship? We know with Miles and Karen, the pandemic and the cameras being away is what strengthened their relationship. They were able to be them true selves and be real. What is he doing to make their relationship that much better?
Right.
Zach said he needs some understanding. He needs some understanding in their marriage. He wants to be understood.
It was a lot of talk of, do you like me for me?
Yeah.
Because again, this is fundamentally you. That's the other thing that Dr. Viv said. It's like you're saying she is this behavior. And instead of it being a part of her, you're saying, no, that's you. And so it's like, I want to know that you like me for me. And it was like, can you see a future with us? And he was like, no.
That was hurtful to her because you saw her face. Do you see? She said when the question asked her, she said, "Do we see a future?" And she was like, "Yeah, I do see a future with us." Which means to me, she's willing to work on whatever issues they have, whatever situation they have. She's willing to work on it. And he says no. Now, I'm not knocking him for being honest.
No.
But I think there's always a way you can say it.
Yes.
That can still get your point across.
Yes.
And the way he said it was like, boom. No, I don't see
He can say, based on where we are right now, it's hard for me to see a future. I'm not saying things can't change, though. Anything is possible.
Done deal. Could have been done.
As opposed to, no. This is the last thing I'm going to say about them. He talked about this a little bit, again, on Unfiltered, that they're not in a good space or whatever. and with her knee-jerk reactions and everything. I feel like her family did her a disservice by mentioning Hurricane K. Yeah. Because then that's in the back of his mind, just like with Vincent and Brianna, when they call her bossy. And so everything you want to put into this Hurricane K, you're looking for when is the hurricane going to pop up. Mm-hmm. And everything that she, it's like she can't even be upset. She can't express her hurt. She can't express her anger because you just see it as her spinning out. Yeah, you see it as a tropical storm or whatever case may be. So the family was honest, yes. But they said that on the side. Yeah. They said on the side. Was that when they met for like brunch afterwards? Brunch. Yeah. So So when you tell somebody who, they don't know, he's traumatized or whatever. But when you tell somebody that I've dealt with females that are fly off the handle and stuff, I'm not you. So that from that moment on, it's like, oh snap. Ugh. And then when he actually sees it, so he's looking for it. Yeah, when he actually sees it, it's like, okay, next level. Yeah. Next level, and he doesn't, again, dealing with a person who doesn't forgive, mm-hmm. who doesn't easily forgive or forget, that was one of the big things there. All right. Last but not least. Oh, Lord. Oh, Jose and Rachel. Jose. A mess, a hot, stinking mess, a mess. Oh, man. And we see them in the kitchen, and, they having a conversation. The question was, basically what she said was, one thing that embarrassed her at the beginning of their relationship was the fact that she mentioned that she cheated. Mm-hmm. That she had cheated before. She needed to tell him, but she told him may not have been a good spot, mm-hmm. may not have been a good place. They was already drinking, and Jose has not been able to let that go at all. He has not been able to let that go at all, and she wished she hadn't told him that she once cheated in a past relationship, mm-hmm. because it seemed like every week he's bringing that up. Every week he's bringing that up in a relationship. They meet with Dr. V. Mm-hmm. Dr. V said, what's going well? Let me pause right there, because this whole thing with Dr. V and how it went, I was like, the producers, this is a whole setup, because we saw the previews before it was coming. It's like this is a whole setup. I almost felt like some of this was fake, mm-hmm. because they did. This has been a running theme with them. When they talk to Dr. V, what's going well? We get along so well. Mm-hmm. Dr. V's like, well, I see, y'all all touchy-feely, and yeah, we all touchy-feely. We loving each other. Yeah. Uh-huh. It's just rainbows and puppies and kittens and stuff. Yeah, they felt well, but one thing they couldn't talk about their sex life. They couldn't talk about sex. It started to make you think, what's going on with their sex mm-hmm. life that they can't have the conversation? Mm-hmm. That they can't talk about it, and then he finally said, sex life is good. I'm thinking like Rachel don't like it. And she basically ended up because her face really was looking like, because he was like, yeah, it's going good, it's great and everything. She was looking like, and I really could use some more. I really could get out of the pretty vanilla area. I really could. She looked like she wanted to say it's not enough for me. He's real plain. That's how her face was looking. I'm not putting words in her mouth, but she was looking like she was. And then it's okay. It ain't the best. Or even if it's not that, I think. Matter of fact, I think I said this to you. Her face was looking like it wasn't all that. As much as he talks about, all right, because he likes to be in control. Again, he likes to be in control, so he might be one of those guys that what. It's about me. Let me get mine, and you don't get yours. Selfish. You might be selfish in the bedroom. But anyway, Dr. V asked him, was it good? And they both gave a thumbs up. It was slow, but they both gave a thumbs up. Oh, you forgot to say they're having sex daily, regularly. Yeah, they're having sex regularly. She's hoping it'll get better as the days go by. They do talk about having each other's passcodes to their phones.
that he has hers, she has his.
No, she has his for sure.
He knows hers,
but
he knows of hers.
He doesn't have it specifically, but her thing is, I don't have to have it. I do have it, but it's not a thing. I'm not going to go through his phone. It just shows that we do have some trust for each other.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Then we get to the nitty gritty. Next time we see Jose and Rachel, it is the famous black and white footage, which means they're in night vision. They're sitting there with a producer. And we tell it here, Jose is going off. Jose is cussing her out. Jose is calling her every name in the book. Jose told her she can pack her effing bags and go and leave. He does not care.
Get the F out.
Get the F out. And I'm sitting here telling my wife, like, how am I getting out of this apartment? We both live here. Your name ain't on it.
How do we determine who has to leave?
How do we determine who has to leave?
I feel like if you're mad, you should leave. You can go.
I ain't going nowhere.
You got that nice big house. You got to go ahead.
Right, and it's 2 bedrooms. Again, why do one of us have to leave?
But more than anything, you got that nice big house you so proud of that is paid for. So you put me out. The funniest thing is he puts her out, tells her you got to go, get out. So she leaves.
No, not at first, because she tells him, you don't talk to me like that. Who do you think you are? You're not going to talk to me like that.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying.
Yeah, but she goes into the...
yeah.
And so she goes out and talks to a producer, she says. And as she goes out and talks to the producer around 12:30.
Mm-hmm.
It's 12:30 because they show the timestamp on the TV. She goes out 12:30, talks to the producer. About 1 o'clock, 30 minutes later, he puts the deadbolt on the door and locks the door. He knows she's out there. She ain't take her phone. She ain't take no bags. And she is basically locked outside.
Because he was like, he said, I was ready to go to bed.
I
got to get up early. I secure my dwelling before I go to bed.
Who says that?
I didn't know where you were. So I didn't know if you was coming back. To which, again, her thing was, I didn't take anything with me. You knew I was coming back. She's banging on the door. He must be in REM sleep.
No, that dude heard her banging on the door. He just decided not to answer.
He don't answer the door. She says later when they get back together, I knocked on Brett's door. I knocked on Mirla's door. Nobody, basically, she didn't say nobody answered. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And his thing is because she called me by another man's name.
And I'm sitting here thinking, and it's just me, all right? Producers ain't got an extra key to that apartment?
No, maybe not.
They get in there without.
I'm just saying, maybe not.
I'm just thinking producers got a key. Somebody has a key. Y'all gonna let me in here. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna let me in. He locks her out. And then he goes and say it's an excuse. He said it was an accident. I accidentally put the deadbolt on. I've had a lot of homes.
You just said you secured your dwelling before you.
I've had a lot of homes, but the deadbolt is not something that you accidentally turn. You don't accidentally turn the deadbolt. You purposely set the deadbolt. Jose is a liar. I don't know how to say that in Spanish.
Mentirosa.
A mentirosa. There you go. A mentirosa. Jose is a mentirosa. He's a liar. He lied this whole time. When he gets with the guys and he tells the story to the guys don't even believe the story he tells.
Gil is like, bruh, something is missing. How do we get from this to she's storming out?
How do we
it's not.
Yeah. How do we get from her calling you the wrong name to her storming out?
It's not what happened in between there. And he was looking like, see, that's what I'm trying to understand too. I'm trying to get that too. Like, you know, how she get to that? Like, this not making no sense to me. You know, and even Zach is looking like, huh?
Yeah, this ain't right. But before we even get to the name, what name she called him, she comes back the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sitting there. He's cooking it's afternoon because he's cooking some steak and lobster. 2 steaks, 2 lobster tails. So he's back there and she's talking to him and he's clearly ignoring her. Clearly in his feelings. And she's clearly just rambling, just talking on. And you know, no one's gonna talk to me like that. You seem like you don't feel remorseful. And since you don't feel
he was like, and I don't.
I'm not.
I mean what I said.
And it's because you're not feeling remorseful. You're not my husband anymore. I think this marriage is over.
And she commits to, I'm going to go pack my stuff up. I'm gonna. And he was like, yeah, you do that. Let me know if you need some help.
Here's the pettiness. Let me know if you need some help. And there's some boxes in the closet over there.
Oh my God.
And so to the point where the producers had to come out and say, like, you know.
And he was like, I mean, what we doing here? What you want me to do? I'm not getting ready to try to convince her to stay. If she want to go, she look like she got her mind made up. And again, this is a marriage.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something. And you in a marriage, guess what? And I know this is married at first sight, but I'm gonna give you real life marriage. You don't take the attitude of if she's, do you love this person? You committed to be with this person.
Yeah.
And if you care like you say you care, then you would try to talk to her and reason with her.
Yeah.
At least understand where she's coming from. He was like, bump it. And she's in there. The producer talks to him. They're talking to her. And she was like, you know what? This always happens to me. I get in this place. I'm upset. And I have some things I want to say. And I don't say it. And she says, I'm not doing that. Yeah. I'm going to go say what's on my mind so I can feel clear. I have my conscience clear later. And so she comes to him and she tells him, you know, the way you lock me out, you know, goes through all that. And then she says, and he's like, but for over one thing, you leave. She's like, it's not just that, it's been building up. And she talks about the bank account thing. And she talks about how she wants to do things a certain way. And it ends up being his way. And I feel like you're controlling. And I wrote this in my diary 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And he's like, why you didn't say nothing to me? Dummy. I write it. People write in their diary stuff they do not want to say out loud. Don't feel like they can. Mm-hmm. Because it's to get it off. You know, I don't feel comfortable. Because that's why she didn't say it to you. Because probably she felt like you would act the ace like you are right now. And that's ace. That's an A-double-S. Because I don't say A-double-S. We say it's an ace.
Yeah, a donkey.
A os.
Yes, a os. You know, so he was like, you know, he was upset. I mean, and Joe, what he said was, if you're going to leave, go. He was like, it was smug. Mm-hmm. It was petty. Mm-hmm. It was like he wanted to control the narrative in the situation with her. And to the point where even when he goes back to telling the guys again, they're like, dog, something ain't right. There's something going on. There's a problem. There's an issue. And this is why I like Ryan. Ryan was like, you know what, dog?
He was like, bump it. It's going to come out anyway.
Come out anyway. She called you Johnny. And I'm sitting here like,
Johnny was like, me?
Are you mad because she called you Johnny? And it wasn't even in the middle of sex. So it was like in the middle of a conversation.
They said that apparently in this apartment building they have, there's like a suite, a penthouse. Yeah. They call it the clubhouse. You can go up there and hang out. So they were up in the clubhouse hanging out, talking. And she called him Johnny. Yeah. And he went 0 to 100 real quick.
Real quick. Oh, Johnny.
You don't call me no other man name. I don't who think this is.
It was much more to that because he was looking for a way out.
But he said that cheating thing is sticking with him. And he was just like, he went to the left and he must have been thinking John Cena, Johnny Depp. His friend Johnny didn't cross his mind at all, or else he wouldn't have lost it. All the guys were like, are you serious?
We talk about each other all the time.
Jack was like, I mean, we talk about each other. So
both of y'all names start with J's. It could get.
He was like, bruh. To the point where Jose was looking stupid like, yeah, I did overreact.
But it's not overreact, but he lied. The thing he's lied about the whole story, he made it seem as if she was the one who was crazy. She was the one who just left out. Not like he did anything. He made it seem like he didn't do anything wrong, that he was the one that went from 0 to 60, that he wasn't the one that told her to get out. He wasn't the one that flipped out and cussed and did all this and called her out her name because she called him Johnny. It wasn't like Dexter St. John. It was nobody else like that. It was nobody. It wasn't a pool boy. It wasn't a housekeeper. It wasn't a plumber. It wasn't the Pastor Cal. It wasn't a guy down the street at the grocery store. She called him somebody y'all hang out with and somebody you see, somebody you know that's not trying to steal your girl.
At all.
At all. He just wanted to flip out. And that's why a lot of people saying that they think it's scripted. That it was like, this is something they brought up. Because there's no way in the world and there wasn't, like I said, there wasn't even doing anything. It's not like she was moaning saying, oh, Johnny. Like, that would have been a different story. I just took that one like, oh, yeah, that's a problem. Y'all were just hanging out. She probably said in conversation, yeah, Johnny, Jose, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to call you. Nah, man. Dude took that bad boy to he's childish, he's immature, he's controlling, he's manipulative, and he wants her to do things his way. And like they said, I think she said it, or one of the ladies said it when it was in the rage room. He does not take accountability for any of his actions. Even when they was talking, he blamed her the whole time. He didn't take any accountability for what he did. Not until he was on Unfiltered did he take accountability when Zach said, dog, you was wrong. When his boys called him out, Zach and Ryan called him out, that's when he took accountability. He didn't take any accountability on the show.
When, yes, but not to her.
Not to her.
Now, he did when they were golfing, and they were like, bro, come on. He was like, yeah.
Too much. Team too much.
Yeah.
It was he did too much.
And on the flip side, like we talked about, the guys went golfing. The ladies went to a rage room. I think they called it something else. But so, of course, Rachel's in there tearing everything up. The ladies was surprised because Bao was going in.
Bao went in.
Bao was going in.
I don't know who she was talking to. Talking about, but Bao was going in.
She bust that TV. I hate you.
And Miller. So this is not how I get my anger out.
Listen, let me tell you something. Y'all know I went out of town last week.
She's a party pooper.
Y'all know I went out of town last week. So I went to visit my niece. And so my niece was like, let's go to an escape room. I was like, better yet, let's find a rage room. Because I always wanted to do that. I feel like I'm not going to a rage room because I'm mad. How about sometimes I just want to break some stuff just to break it, because you don't get to break nothing. It's like kids that want to jump in the freaking puddles outside. It's not because you don't want to do it because you want to get wet. You want to just jump in a puddle. So I was like, Mila, you ain't gotta be. Can we just swing that sledgehammer?
I wonder again with her, what does she like to do for fun besides shopping?
Yeah.
Besides shopping.
And if you get upset,
what
do you do? Because let's be real, we haven't really seen her. We haven't seen her upset either.
No, Gil.
No, I don't expect to see Gil. Gil has to be calm under pressure. He's a fireman.
Yeah. But you see them hang out together. We saw them, she does like to hang out. She always hangs out. Michaela wasn't there because she wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
So I'm not knocking Mila for not hanging out, just for not participating. She'll go hang out. She'll pull a Marshawn Lynch. I'm here so I don't get fined. Right? So she needs to be there to be. I like to see her participate more.
I would have liked her hit some. Pick the glass, because it wasn't just the sledgehammer. It was dishes. She could have just picked the dish up. Pick the dish up, throw it there. I did it.
She could have did something.
I did it.
So before we wrap this up, we at the midway point, right? They did the midway. They did the halfway special, after the episode. So we're at the midway point. Give me your couples top 5, starting with the worst to the best. Your top 5 couples as of right now.
Gosh, I feel like I got a 3-way tie for the worst.
You better break that. Go ahead.
I feel like all right, can I have a 2-way tie for the worst?
No.
Okay.
Somebody got to be fine.
To me, the worst, Michaela and Zach, and they started off being my favorite.
Uh-huh.
Jose and Rachel. That's what I was like. They like tied. Jose and Rachel. Brett and Ryan, because they're not the worst. He just don't have no butterflies. He don't treat her bad.
Right.
They don't treat each other bad. There's not that. Then so next up, I like Mila and Gil. Ugh. I'm only putting them second because she is stingy with the kisses. And I know, but she's stingy with it. And then I'm gonna put Bao and Johnny at the top.
Okay.
Because they've really, and I put them at the top because they've made strides. I'm
gonna put Jose and Rachel at the bottom.
Okay.
And because
they would have been my bottom. You said I couldn't have a 3-way tie.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, they're my bottom because the way that he responded and acted and being unforgiving and doesn't have grace. I don't think he's going to get over this at all. I think it's going to be a couple weeks or in TV land. It's going to be a while.
Mm-hmm.
Michaela and Zach are next to me, number 4, because I've seen they started to make some progress. Now, will there be another reaction again? Probably so, because I don't think Zach is ever going to let it go neither.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 for me is Brett and Ryan.
Right.
Brett's butterflies is going to cost them. Ryan not having butterflies, it's going to cost them the relationship because she is not his type at all. So to me, if decision day happens today or tomorrow, because she's not blonde, and that he does not like her, and she's not from a higher echelons of status, I just believe that he doesn't like her. Then I go Miller and Gil as number 2 because I'm gonna take that back. Bao and Johnny for me are number 2. I'm gonna tell Bao and Johnny to me. Johnny still has, to me, long Bao is doing the things he wants to do. He's fine. There's still some issues there with Johnny and Bao, in my opinion, that Johnny still have to work out. I think Miller and Gil, because all with them it has been just a kiss. Now he has the kiss. Now the relationship should be that much better for him, for the intimacy, because they can laugh and joke about her I don't want to call it stuffiness or being bougie or high maintenance, whatever term you want to use. They laugh and joke about that. But I can see them really now, after the kiss, being that couple that, you know what, they've been smooth sailing for them. They haven't had that blow up with that big major issue. Maybe because he's not always there, because every couple of days he's firefighting, whatever. But Miller and Gil. So Miller and Gil won. Johnny and Bao. Don't want to make that mistake. But boy, Johnny and Bao, Brett and Ryan, Jose and Rachel. Zach and Michaela, and then Jose and Rachel. Those are my top 5 in that order. Okay. So we'll see, because the second half is going to look like it's supposed to be very explosive.
I can't wait to see what Michaela was losing it about.
I want to see what she was, and it looked like a production person holding her back. So she's going to lose it about something.
It also looked like a production person at the door.
Yeah, that she was going after. So I'm interested to see why she go off. I'm interested to see how Merle and Gil continue to advance, if Johnny and Bao advance, and how Jose gets over the situation with Rachel, and can they get back to Rose like they've been. So the second half of the season is going to be great. Man, thank all you guys that were in the chat box. Thank you for your responses. Thank you for your comments. Thank you. Make sure you hit give us a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that share button. Make sure
subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe,
like,
and the bell notification. So every time we come on, make sure you do that. Just appreciate each and every one of you. Married at First Sight, man, it's getting interesting. I think this season is. I'm not staying better than last, but right now I'm invested. I'm invested in the season, not too much more. I'm invested in the season. Some people didn't like the season. Try not to look at spoilers. So I'm not trying to look at any spoilers of what's going on in the season, but I am invested in this season. So make sure you leave a comment again in the comment section below. The comment or the question for today is: do you think Jose went overboard?
Yeah.
Do you think Jose overreacted?
Let me answer for you. Yes.
If you think Jose overreacted, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know. Once again, share it with somebody else. And with that being said, we'll catch you next week, right?
Yep.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching.